Well, I want to say welcome to everyone for joining today's Code Ninjas conference call. My name is Marty Flanagan. I'm the Vice President of Franchising here with Code Ninjas, and I host these calls each and every week to allow you to get a better understanding of who Code Ninjas is, where we're coming from, what we're doing, getting updates on what's happening, and kind of an overview of Code Ninjas in general and a little bit of our story. These calls usually have anywhere from 30 to 50 and 60 attendees. These calls have pretty much the same agenda every single week, which we go through the first 10 or 15 minutes. I basically walk through Code Ninjas a little bit overview, and then we go into the Q&A. The Q&A is really my favorite part. It allows you to ask whatever questions you have about Code Ninjas, anything we talked about today, anything about our history, what we're doing, something I may have missed. David Graham, Bert Sensipon, and myself started Code Ninjas in October of 2016, and we officially launched as a brand in March of 2017. And I'll kind of bring you through that timeline of what we did. But that Q&A section of what we do is really, it's my favorite part of these calls, like I said. So I enjoy taking your questions. I don't care if they're repeated 100 times. The more questions, the better. And this call could go on for the next 2 hours. I block out 2 hours for every conference call. Typically, they last about an hour or so. So if you're just joining us, looks like we have about 30 people, 30 attendees on the line right now. Stay as long as you'd like, but just know after the first 10 or 15 minutes, it's your time to ask us whatever questions you would like. I really just turn it over to you and let you direct kind of the direction we go based on your questions. So to give you a little bit of update on Code Ninjas by the numbers, currently, so to kind of back up a little bit if you're just joining us, we launched as a brand in March of 2017. We started building Code Ninjas in October of 2016. A little bit prior to that, David Graham was working on it in his mind and kind of the ideas behind all this long before that. Him and Bert were working on it. October of 2016 is when we really officially kind of took it to say, okay, now we're going to get rolling. We're going to start to really dig deep into how we can make this happen by March. So as we developed all the internal support structure, the compliance, the support, collaboration tools, how we were going to be able to scale what we were doing, our curriculum, all started prior to then, but really started to kind of go into high gear in October of 2016. So go to March of 2017. That's the month we opened our first location, which was in Pearland, Texas, which is right next to our corporate office that is owned by David Graham. And that is the only location that is associated directly with the corporate office of Code Ninjas. So we also, about April of 2017, we officially sold our first territory and had our first franchisee. Fast forward now, we are in March of 2019. We have currently 400 sold locations in the U.S. What sold means is that they're paid for. They're signed franchise agreements and area development agreements, and they are all 400 have required opening dates. We currently have 92 locations open. We have 68 locations that are set to open in the next 90 days. And we have 190 or 195 franchisees in the U.S. and Canada. So kind of giving you Code Ninjas by the numbers. When we get to location 100, which is set to happen this month, we'll have accomplished what only 2% of franchise brands have ever accomplished in franchising, which is having 100 locations open in the first 24 months of operation. Pretty incredible, of launching as a brand. So it's very exciting for us. Entrepreneur Magazine just rated us one of the hot growing franchises. I believe we're like number 66, which is pretty exciting because that's an unpaid, unsolicited ranking, which is very nice. So it kind of gives you an idea of Code Ninjas by the numbers. We've really exploded in terms of growth, and what we've done is completely scalable for you as a prospective franchisee wanting to do one location or multiple locations. So what's the buzz? Why is all of this kind of happening? David Graham and myself spoke at the IFA, International Franchising Association. They had a huge conference last week. David Graham and I both spoke at that event. We're asked to speak there with over 4,000 attendees. It was pretty exciting. And that question continues to come up no matter if you're talking to franchisors, if you're talking to prospective franchisees. Why? So I give you kind of a brief kind of history of where it comes from, is that when David Graham has been a coder and a programmer for more than 25 years. He's also been an entrepreneur that entire time. So as he was kind of going through being a programmer, developer, he really got to understand the skill set of what requires to be a great programmer, a great coder, that skill set. Well, he also understands the value of being a franchisee because he was one. And when he became a part of a franchise that he really knew nothing about that industry, took that leap, he saw the value of what a franchise can do for a brand and for franchisees who may not know a whole lot about the industry they're jumping into, which is what he did. So as he was a part of that brand, that's where David Graham and I met about 10 years ago. And we obviously established a great friendship and obviously working together to this day. So as he sold his last franchise, which was quite a few years ago, he opened up a school that taught adults how to code. And when he opened up that school, he operated that for about 4.5 years, that operated in 18 different cities. And that was vocational. That was teaching adults how to code, from going from maybe working in construction or maybe another industry and moving into this coding programming development IT world. So after he sold that, during that time, I should say, in that 4 years, he was asked on a regular basis about what about the younger generation? What about the younger generation getting involved in this? And obviously news reports kept coming out. I mean, just 3 days ago, Tim Cook, when he was meeting with the president, talked about how they're not so fixated on these college degrees, but that number one skill set they focus on and what they look for is being a coder, when that was 3-4 days ago on MSNBC. So it's always been out there. And he was asked, David Graham was asked on a regular basis about this younger generation. Having boys himself, having 2 young boys himself, he really started to dig into more about what is out there and the value that it can bring to the younger generation. And he was, he was shocked. He was shocked at the problem out there. It was segmented learning. It was class sessions. It was really getting into the weeds. It wasn't fun. And that's where it really hit David in terms of this needs to be fun. And as he was sitting in his son's karate studio and he was looking at the wall and he saw all these belts, it hit him. We can do this in a belt system. We can teach kids how to code in an interconnected way where kids can have fun and parents can see results. Because it is critical that parents are engaged and see what's happening, and it is critical to your business that kids are having fun. So how can we deliver an exceptional experience without having to hire coders and programmers that are really only teaching what they know? And if you lose that individual, then where do you go? And he faced that problem for 4+ years as he was operating, his school that taught adults how to code. Because if you have a really great coder and a programmer and they're a great teacher, they're not easy to find. And if they leave, your business kind of revolves around that. So we solved that problem. We solved multiple problems on the market. And really what Code Ninjas has done is put itself in a position, we have put Code Ninjas in a position, and our franchisees have worked with us to put us in a position so far ahead of the competition that it's going to be difficult for anybody to even come close to what we're doing and the kind of scale, the kind of quality, and really now we're at a place where companies are coming to us really wanting to give us more in terms of whether it be games or proprietary information, proprietary curriculum. Code Ninja's curriculum today, the drop-in curriculum, which we're going to talk about in a second, that drop-in curriculum is 90% proprietary and exclusive. It was 45% not too long ago, so it's really jumped, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But why be a franchise? Obviously, David saw the value of being a franchisee and not knowing a whole lot about an industry, but we know that there's a lot of coders and programmers out there that can do a great job, but there's a lot of other entrepreneurs and teachers that may not know how to code but can deliver an exceptional experience and where kids can have fun. So as we started going down this road as a franchise, we know that franchisees are a large part of our franchise, our brand development, and who we are as a company in general are our franchisees. And there's a lot of times we get phone calls where people are saying, tell me why I should buy your franchise. That is not how we as Code Ninjas operates. This is a partnership. This is an interview. You're interviewing us. We're interviewing you. This is a partnership. We look at this as a long-term relationship, not just about how we can sell you a franchise. That is the exact opposite of how we've built Code Ninjas. We really want this to be something where you're engaged with us in helping develop our brand, really engaging in your community and really making an impact. So that's another reason why we've grown the way we have is we're okay with saying no for you as a franchisee if it's not a good fit, just like you're okay with saying no if you're not a good fit for us, if you feel that way. So as a franchise, we've developed everything from internal collaboration structures and systems so you can collaborate with your franchisees on a regular basis, share documents, share pictures. We have Code Ninja University, videos, streaming. So there's a lot of information packed into our system that allows you to share best practices and allows you to work with franchisees who have been in your shoes, who may have faced some hurdles, and how did they get through that? How did they get around that? So troubleshooting, very, very valuable in any franchise system, is allowing you to connect with your peers, not through a Facebook channel, not through email, but a live interactive system that allows you to work with them, and you can call them, video chat with them. You can actually share best practices back and forth and files. Yes, we collect all that. Yes, we have it in a resource for you, but you can also do that, obviously, working with your franchisees anywhere across the country, the U.S. and Canada, where we are. So that interactive tool, collaboration, is critical. Also, we have internal support structure where you have individuals dedicated to you for your compliance, for your performance coaching, for your daily operations, for marketing. These are all pieces of the puzzle that are there for you, so you don't have to try to go out and recreate anything or try to find your own path. It's there for you. Obviously, all of our design manuals, construction manuals, operating manuals, daily agendas, it's all there for you. Reporting. So we have all that in place for you, where you're not having to go out and try to figure it out yourself. Those are the things that bog down franchisees. I myself have onboarded more than 2,000 franchisees in my life. I've personally been a franchisee. I know what it's like to get bogged down with the mundane day-to-day stuff. It's going to happen, but a franchise's job is how do we lighten that load so you can deliver an exceptional experience. You can stay engaged in your community, and you can keep your center spotless so that engagement and that experience that our families have with Code Ninjas is top-notch. And that's our focus. We want to make sure we can continue to do that, stay at the tip of the spear in terms of all the curriculum and the changes in technology. We have 15 coders and programmers on staff that focus on Code Ninjas development. We are the only ones that have that. So that is something that is always being sharpened. We always say our curriculum itself is complete but never finished. So to kind of look at that curriculum a little bit more, we have 6 different ways where families can get involved in Code Ninjas. We're going to talk about one main one that really is a differentiator and really gives us a lot of attention. Also is your number one revenue producing aspect of your Code Ninjas, and that's called our drop-in program. Our drop-in program, also known as the belt system or a belt program, has 9 different belts. With that, inside each belt is a learned set of skills and learned set of concepts. At the end of each belt, they're going to go onto our game development platform, which is the only LMS in the coding system today, right? The game development platform, the learning management system. It tests the proficiency of the skills that are being learned within inside that belt by our students. So when they get through that first belt, they're going to build a game that they have to show their proficiency in the skills and concepts that they've learned within inside that belt. Once they do that, they're able to progress to the next belt. Each belt then is compounding, or it's interactive. It's cumulative learning, so everything works together. Everything is intertwined and connected. So when you get to the end of each belt, you're going to be using the skills and concepts from inside that belt and the prior belt, and while you build a game that shows your proficiency. So everything builds off one another. There's no having to resell parents on doing a different segment or a different belt, everything works together and everything is compounding. This curriculum takes about 3 to 4 years for our students to accomplish. This curriculum is accessed to, currently, we'll be having some advancements to this, but currently it's accessed 2 hours per week. This has, like I said earlier, is 90% proprietary and exclusive to Code Ninjas. This also has its own set of proprietary textbooks that goes along with it. This curriculum lives on the cloud, lives on our platform in the cloud, which students access through our dashboard. This curriculum has an 8-to-1 ratio for Code Senseis to our students. So you have 8 students every one Code Sensei. So this curriculum also has robotics, an exclusive robotics program that is built into the system as well. How students access this is when they come in, they're going to scan their wristband. When they scan their wristband, it allows them to then go into the dojo, open their computer, open the laptop, open the computer, and access the Code Ninjas curriculum. On that dashboard, it also will show different pieces of this to where they can go back and do what they've done in the past. They can obviously advance. They can do collaboration events in there. We do holiday hackathons where our Code Ninjas actually compete against other Code Ninjas across the country. So last time we had 55 Code Ninjas competing against one another, and all of our Code Ninjas are full of students being involved in the holiday hackathon. So we do these interactive competitions between Code Ninjas all over the U.S. and now in Canada as well. So that curriculum that you see right there, that's been really the differentiator, what we really focused on and solved the problem on the market today. So this curriculum, they're going to do in the first belt, they're going to work with Scratch a little bit because that's an easy win for them. And then they're going to move into JavaScript for about a year and a half. Then they're going to work in Lua for about a year. Then they're going to work in C# for about a year. So they're learning the syntax as they go through. This isn't just drag and drop or a hacked up version of something. This is actually, they're learning the syntax. They're learning the skills, the concepts in which makes a great coder, not just being brainwashed into some language that they have to learn. So this gives you a pretty good idea of that main curriculum. This curriculum, parents pay a flat tuition rate per month for that 2 hours of access. There's no lectures. There's no class settings. This is a drop-in program at mom and dad's convenience or their parents' convenience. This curriculum also here, I believe in the net, we'll have it hopefully ready by in the next couple months, is reciprocity. So reciprocity to where they can actually use another Code Ninjas, and when they scan in, that you as a franchisee get paid immediately for that usage. So that is also another aspect of this is reciprocity, which is fantastic. That flat monthly rate that parents are going to be paying for that 2 hours of access, now soon here we're moving into a tiered program where parents can choose 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, 4+ hours a week, so they actually can choose their engagement. And they can jump around a little bit in there too based on what the franchisee wants them to do. This pricing structure goes from anywhere from $150 and up, that is currently for the 2 hours a week. The tiering program will have a little bit different pricing structure to it, which will help with franchisees in different markets. That's one opportunity for families to get involved. So we have that drop-in program. So that's one. We have camps. We have workshops. We have Parents' Night Out. We also have our after-school program, and we have birthday parties. So we have 6 different opportunities for families to be engaged. Our camps and workshops can now schools. So now you can take our camps and workshops and go into the school system. Camps and workshops, the difference, camps are 5 days long, and they're typically half days or full days. Workshops are 1 to 3 days long, and they're either half days or full days. Workshops are year-round. Year-round. Whenever there's not school, you're doing camps and workshops. Whenever there's not school. And now that we allow our franchisees, we're getting so many requests to go into the schools. that we beta tested with a few of our franchisees. It was very successful. So now we allow our franchisees to take the camps and the workshops and go into the school system as well as be inside their center. So that can really be year-round revenue for you as a franchisee. The drop-in curriculum is only offered inside of our center, and it'll stay that way. So that gives you an idea of that curriculum. It gives you a little bit of an idea of why we are a franchise, and it gives you a little bit of a history of where we kind of come from with David Graham, the CEO and founder of Code Ninjas, and kind of where the idea came from. One other thing I'd like to mention, I know these calls are recorded and will be put on our YouTube channel, but one thing I like to mention this time of year is we're coming up to the FDD renewal. What that means is a franchise disclosure document for franchises are renewed every April. Okay, so that's coming up April 1st. As of April 1st, there are changes coming, and I like to tell everybody about this. The changes are going to be in our item 19, which gives you more insight on the financials of Code Ninjas in terms of how our franchisees are performing. Also, our franchise fee will be going up from $24,000 to $29,000, and we will no longer have a multi-unit discount program, which right now is $24,000 for your first, $20,000 for your second, or $20,000 for your third. Soon here, as of April 1st, it'll be $29,000 per location with no discount. That is one aspect of this. Also, another one is there's something called registered states. And just give me a minute to go through this. This could actually affect you. There's 27 registered states. That process could take a little bit longer. So when you're looking into Code Ninjas, if you're in, like, for the states that usually take a long time, like Washington, Oregon, California, Virginia, Maryland, Illinois, those states could take up to 3 months, 6 months to approve the franchise disclosure document for franchises. So if you're in one of those registered states, you're going to have to kind of know that we only can give you a certain amount of information until your state approves the franchise disclosure document. We have a lot of individuals right now coming to our Discovery Day next week because everybody wants to get in before April 1st. So we have, I believe, around 40 to 50 attendees coming to our Discovery Day next week. It's a very unique Discovery Day because all of those individuals are looking at making a decision before April 1st. Code Ninjas right now currently is on pace to add 50 more locations just this month, territories sold. So we'll be at about 450 sold territories and we probably close to 220, 225 franchisees in the next 3 weeks. So it's pretty busy time for us. So these calls can be extremely helpful to kind of help you understand kind of where we're at. That's that first 20 minutes. I appreciate you taking your time. We've got 40 plus people on the call today, and I really appreciate you being able to kind of sit through that first part, learn a little more about us. But now this is your time. About Code Ninjas. By hitting *6, it virtually raises your hand, and then I'm able to kind of unmute you so you're able to ask your question. If I did such a fantastic job and nobody has any questions, then we can wind down today's call. But again, I love taking questions. I love being peppered. You can't ask anything too direct. You can't be too combative. You can't be too poke holes in it. Do whatever questions are in your mind. Please, this is your time to ask. I don't get annoyed. I don't get frustrated. I actually respect your questions and value your time. So if you'd like to fire away with whatever questions you have, this is your time to do that. Hi, you have a question? Hello, do you have a question? You might have me on mute. Do you have a question? Okay. Hi, do you have a question? Try again. Do you have a question? Hi, do you have a question?
Yes.
Oh, great. There we go. Wonderful.
Mine is simple. What is the next step?
Well, next step from here would be to, if Jeff Thames or myself have sent you an email, and if you're looking at moving forward before April 1st, I can 100% promise you we will make time for you. If you're looking to move forward after April 1st, I just ask you to kind of respect this time right now for those who are really rushing to get this done by April 1st, and allow us to maybe talk the first week of April. It would be fine as well. But we'll schedule a time to talk about where we go from here with you. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, that's perfect. I'll look for that email.
Yeah, if you can't find it, Marty at codeninjas.com. Just send me an email, and I'll get you connected.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, Marty at codeninjas.com.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Marty. My name is Joe, calling you from Canada, actually.
Wonderful.
And I just wanted, thanks for having the call. Just wanted to understand a little bit more on the side of the numbers regarding the drop-in rates. I know you said that's kind of our bread and butter here. Can you give us an idea of how many students typically, I guess on average, a shop may experience?
Yeah, so in franchising, I can't give you like any numbers or any data that allows you to make a mathematical equation to revenue if it is outside of what we have in our franchise disclosure document, item 19. So if you kind of followed me there, I have to kind of tread lightly. So how I can answer your question is the current item 19, for example, let's talk about pre-sale. So pre-sale is before you open your doors for business, you're pre-selling your drop-in program. So, for example, our average center opened their doors with 59 students enrolled in pre-sale, and our highest was 88, our lowest was 42. That kind of gives you an example.
Okay.
That'll help you with understanding kind of what you could look for. Now, I have talked to some centers. I talked to a center the other day that's open and doing well. They started with 15 in their pre-sale, but then doubled and doubled and doubled. So they started off a little bit slower, but then once they opened their doors, and I do think this has to do with a little bit of what part of the country you're in, where in some parts, some cities, they like to see what you look like when you open, which is totally fine. And you can see in this market, they opened up with a little bit lower, but then it exploded for them. And we see that in some markets where in bigger cities, we're seeing more of the higher pre-sale. That's why we have about an average of 59 before they open their doors for business.
Oh. And just to repeat, make sure I understood you, that's an average of 59 before they even, like before day one?
The day they turn before day one. Yep.
Wow. That's pretty great.
Yeah, we have a whole pre-sale process that you follow. So you're marketing, you're selling, you're connecting with the community. You're moving. We call our founding family. So you're not just waiting for your doors to open to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that process is continually sharpened based on our franchisees' success.
In relation to Canada, and forgive me, I know there's probably not many of us here on the call, but how is pricing for these drop-in rates determined? How much variance do we see, across North America?
Well, first, Canada is going to sell out by May, so there's always a ton of Canadians on the line, just so you're aware.
Is that right? That's good.
Yeah, Canada already has close to 20 territories sold, and we're only going to be selling 50. So Canada itself will be sold out here soon. When it comes to pricing structure, we work with you on your community, cost of living, cost of doing business, competition. Competition isn't coding necessarily because we're above that, but what are families paying for tutoring services or extracurricular activities in your community already? We look at that. We look at the cost of doing business, like I said, the cost of living, and we help you determine the best. We don't tell you, we give you a range, but then we help you with really nail down that range and then help you with tiering that as time goes on so that as you open your doors for business, those founding families come in and you kind of tier up your pricing from there.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. All
right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, I've got a couple of quick questions. You had mentioned the Discovery Day next week. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is there still opportunity to, engage in that?
So Discovery Days are hosted on the second Thursday of every month at our corporate office in Houston, Texas. They're not virtual. They're not online. They're not on the phone. Everything is at our corporate office in person. To be a part of that on a short notice, you're going to want to make sure you've connected with either Jeff Thames or myself, whoever sent you an email. And because you do have to qualify to attend Discovery Day, it's not too late to qualify. It's not too late to be invited, but there are a few steps we got to take to be sure that it's going to be the right fit for you at the right time.
Gotcha. All right, second question. You had mentioned the franchise disclosure document or agreement. I wasn't sure which, if it's FDA
well,
or
the franchise agreement is FDD, the franchise disclosure document. The franchise agreement is inside of that, but yes, I mentioned the FDD. Yep.
And is there a current one that we can get a hold of, or at what point in this process do we get a hold of that?
Well, usually it's typically when you engage us via email, and then we have a phone call. We have that initial phone call, and that initial phone call after that, we send you a bunch of goodies to read through.
Perfect. Yeah, I did receive a couple of emails from you, but I'm not sure that I received that. So I'll follow.
If we haven't had a call, yet, then you probably haven't received the franchise disclosure document if we haven't had that initial phone conversation yet.
Perfect. Thanks, Marty.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Hi. You have a question?
Yeah. Hi, Marty. So I had a question regarding the space requirement. That was my first question. And is it is there any preference that it should be on the first floor or a ground floor? And what is the square feet space that is required for opening a
Sure, yeah. So we like it to be a first floor, but second floor retail is also in some markets, second floor retail can be just as the same quality for us as first floor retail, and actually save our franchisees, could be half the rent on second floor retail compared to first floor retail. So we can do either. We also look at anywhere from 1,600 square feet, and we allow you to go all the way up to 3,200 square feet. We have some franchisees that are, become 1,500 square feet or around that area. We do have some requirements on what your space, like the width of your space, the ceiling height, kind of what it needs to be. So there's some things in there that have to be met. But we have some franchisees that have been able to be a little bit lower in their square footage. So, but usually 1,600 to 3,200 is what we like to start with.
And any requirements for elevators on the first floor, or?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Any requirements if the property has elevators, or are those any of your requirements?
We don't have requirements for elevators. A lot of times your city is going to have ADA requirements that are going to force a retail mall to have an elevator. That is more of an ADA requirement more than a Code Ninja requirement.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other questions, or are we good?
No. I had one more question, right? So
sure.
About
go for it.
The furniture requirements, or can you shed some light on that? Like, what are?
I'm sorry. What requirements?
The furniture. Like, what kind of furniture is required?
Everything is purchased through. We have two different design companies we work with. You have to purchase everything through one of our two design companies. You don't buy it from Code Ninjas. You buy it from one of our two design companies that does all of our layouts and branding and everything.
Okay. And does that include, or are there any iPads or computers that are required to be bought?
Computers, we give you, you have to buy your own computers. We don't have the same kind of buying power quite yet as like Amazon or Walmart. So we're finding that our franchisees are finding some pretty good opportunities out there on their own. We do have some partnerships here in the U.S. with like Staples on leasing programs and such. Because of the volume that we do, it really allows our franchisees to get a pretty good value on some of the leasing programs.
Okay. And my last question. So in the FDD, you would have all those details the initial inventory, or what is the cost that would be identified?
Yep, it's also on our website.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Marty.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes. So I'm based out of Georgia, and I see some locations are in the state of coming soon. And so is there a way to find out that, okay, this territory is sold out or any other location? So before we go into call, like, do I have to find a location that or territory or the city where I am able to open the new franchisee or new location for the Code Ninja?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at Atlanta, there's 3 more territories that are about to be secured in Atlanta, which is going to put Atlanta pretty much out of reach for that, especially that north side. Kennesaw is about to be purchased. Same with Woodstock. So, I mean, that whole area in that north side, there's nothing available.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Peachtree City, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how about, so you mentioned, so all the north of Atlanta is sold out. That's what you mean?
Yeah, there's no more. I won't approve another territory up there. Correct.
Okay. So is there a location, like, is there anything that we can go and see that, okay, these territories are sold out and these are all opportunities that you can pick one?
Yeah, you can go to our website and
okay.
you can see every territory there is sold out. We don't put on our website the research that we've done in the U.S. because that costs a lot of money to do all that research, and that would just be like handing over to anybody who wants to try to copy us or competition saying, hey, they did all the hard work, now let's just take their information. So we don't give out our research that we've done for available markets, but everything you see on our website is a sold market. For available markets, that's a one-on-one conversation that we have, because also we have to make sure that this is going to be a good fit for you and a good fit for us. We love diving in with you. We love working with you when you're in the process. The process doesn't mean you're a franchisee. The process just means that you're engaging with us and we all feel this is a good fit. We continue to move forward. We'll find you a market, right? As long as it's not impeding on our franchisees, and as long as it's not cannibalizing on top of our franchisees, we will help you find a great market.
Okay. Yeah, and one more question that may not be like relevant or here, like in this conversation, but what are your plans to move this franchisee thing like outside of US and Canada?
Yeah, that would be more of an independent call for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, you have a question? Hi, you have a question? If you're going to have your phone on mute and you're not going to be able to answer, then I'm just going to go on to the next. So I'm sorry that if I jump to the next one too fast. Hi, you have a question?
Yes. Well, somebody asked already about the location, but as a franchisee looking for a location, what's my guideline basically for looking in a good location? Is it just, am I just happy if I see something like the minimum 1,600 square foot, or could you elaborate?
When it comes to actually finding a location, we have preferred vendors that we work with that are for real estate, and they know what to look for. And we also give you guidelines of what the space needs to look like. So ground floor retail, 22 feet wide, at least 10-foot ceilings, 1,600 square feet and up. Sometimes we find 1,500, 1,550, stuff like that, 1,490. We get it. We might be able to make those spaces work, and if we can, and it makes sense, we have to do feasibility studies and such. But if it makes sense, that's fantastic. So if you're talking about are you talking about the actual space, right? Finding the actual location? Or are you talking about territory?
The space, should it really be in a strip mall or separate?
Yes. No, strip mall would be great. Strip mall would be fantastic. We currently do not have any standalone Code Ninjas and don't plan to.
Okay. Second question. regarding the software fees and everything, are that based on what the company, the like Microsoft is really charging, and then there's no additional topping fee? Like right now, like for example, the in the FDD it says 150 or something like that. What's the chance that it could be double in the next year or something like? Or
well, it hasn't doubled in the last two. It hasn't even moved in the last 2 years. So in the last 2 years, it's never changed. It's $110 for your, and that's for all of the internal collaboration tools. It's Microsoft 365. It's your email. It's your website. It's also all those collaboration tools that I talked about earlier. All of our internal resources, Code Ninja University. It's all built into that 110, and it hasn't changed in 2 years. If you start nickel and diming your franchisees to death, you're going to trash your culture. So we're very aware of that.
It's more like for accounting processing, but you do inform all the franchisees if there's going to be increase, like even the small minor things, just for us to prepare ourselves on the eventual.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, we have as a franchise. I helped build the number one franchise in the world from 50 locations to 3,600. The good, the bad, the ugly. I've seen it. And one thing that we understand is the ugly is communication. We have to overdo our communication. So it's something that we don't just spring fees on our franchisees to say, oh, yeah, I guess it was in your franchise disclosure document. You should have read it. That we will not do. Now, if you're not reading the newsletters, if you're not on the owner's calls, if you're not engaged with the franchisor, it may seem that way, but we are in constant communication with our franchisees, with newsletters from multiple departments, owners' calls every other week. So it's something that we're always, our conferences that are every year, we're not trying to nickel and dime our franchisees to death. That $110 covers our cost. It's barely covering our cost, actually, and not including all the manpower and woman power that went into the resources that are built into that.
All right, that's good to hear. Another question. So once everyone's in and the location, and we will be sending 3 people for the training. That includes, I guess, me, the owner, and 2 more. Those other 2 people has to be.
You don't have to send 3 people. You can send up to. Just to clarify, it's up to 3 people. You don't have to send 3 people. You yourself can just come.
Oh, okay. But if I have somebody
you bring them with you.
But he or she doesn't have any computer science, but she's
But you're not coming to our office for us to teach you how. Yeah, you're not coming to our office to teach you how to be a coder. You're going through the new franchisee training, which is going to help you be orientated on all of the aspects of Code Ninjas. We're not having you come in to teach you how to be a coder, right? So when it comes to new franchisee training, we're talking about sales, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about daily operations, we're talking about the system itself and how to use it. It's not, hey, come in for 3 days and we'll teach you how to be a coder. So computer science doesn't mean anything. They don't have to have any IT background or anything like that.
Okay. So I guess I probably got confused with that. Yeah, I should have known. It should be manager and me. But as far as I'm thinking about the sensei, the people who we hire.
No, you're not bringing them to. They have online training agendas.
Sorry about that. I think that was my other question I was trying to write down regarding the sensei. How do they really have to be computer science students or with background? Because I have some people who are education graduate that works with kids.
So they're going to have to be able to teach. So we're getting a little deep into the weeds, but they need to coach and be able to coach and teach the Code Ninjas curriculum. Their job is to deliver an exceptional experience and coach and teach the Code Ninjas curriculum. Their position is going to be a lot easier to deliver an exceptional experience if they've done the curriculum itself. So if you're going to be hiring somebody who has never done any of it, they're going to want to make sure they've done it and are going through it, so they're not trying to coach or teach something they have no idea.
Okay.
So
no,
I
guess my worry is
how about we do this? How about, you and I have talked before. Let's talk about your worries one-on-one, okay? Let's do that one-on-one, and I think you're going to be at Discovery Day next week, right?
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah, so you're going to see it then, too, okay? Awesome. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Sorry about that.
All right. No worries. All right. Hi, you have a question? Hi, you have a question? Must have me on mute. Hi, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. How about training the employees or the teachers who are going to teach the kids?
Yeah, so just a couple questions back. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but when it comes to your coach senseis, you'll have them be engaged in the curriculum itself, and also there's like agendas, training agendas and such, videos they can watch as well. So they're going to, remember, we're teaching 7 to 14 years old. So when you bring a 17 to 22-year-old in to be a coach sensei, this is typically a stepping stone for their future. So it's a lot different than any other part-time job they're going to get because, one, these kids are pretty passionate, and this is what they want to do with their future. And we help you with a guideline how to find these people. It's very easy. Out of 92 centers open, we haven't had yet one complaint about a center ever trying to find coach senseis. Coach senseis this is typically a stepping stone to their future career. So spending 2-3 years inside your Code Ninjas, they can put it on their application when they get older saying they taught kids how to code for X number of years. These kids want to dive into the curriculum. They want to learn it. They want to go through it. And they only have to go as far as your students are. So it's not like they have to go and do black belt and complete everything. They only need to go as far as your students because that's what they're teaching and coaching. So then you can focus on helping them deliver an exceptional experience and be able to help develop those skills. So when kids come in, not only can they coach them, but they can have fun at the same time, and you can help them with that. And we give you like training agendas and videos, and we have conferences that talk about all that fun stuff as well.
So how long is it
collaborating? And obviously collaborating with your other franchisees and getting all their great ideas that they post on our tools, on our internal network and collaboration tools, all the stuff that they post and talk about, you just pull that stuff off and you start doing that in your center immediately. It's actually pretty exciting. It's on-demand type of stuff.
Okay. And how long is the training for them?
However long, that's kind of, there's not like first of all, I don't know how far it's going to be different because, one, if you're just opening your center, their training is going to be not even a week. If your center's been open for 6-7 months and you have somebody that's into the second belt, that may be a week and a half. Because what a 17-year-old is doing is and you're hiring 3 to 5 part-time coach senseis. The likelihood of all them kind of packing up and quitting on you at once is very unlikely. And if it does happen, there's probably a bigger issue in there somewhere.
And is there any student to teacher ratio?
8 to 1.
8 to 1. So like I was listening earlier to one of the questions, and you said normally the centers start off around 59 on an average, 59 students on an average. So I was just multiplying the fees and considering all the expenses. That doesn't put us to a break.
But you're talking about before you even open your doors for business.
Okay. So it is not the maximum what you have so far in the center?
No, that was, like I said earlier, that has to do with your pre-sale. So before you even open your doors for business.
Got it. So do you know any of the centers who has, how much is the lowest number you have so far in the existing centers?
I do know, but I'm not going to be able to share anything that is not inside my franchise disclosure document. Mm-hmm. Franchising law prevents me from doing anything like that gives you any sort of mathematical equation to create revenue. So our current item 19 has numbers in it, and you can, as soon as when you start having one-on-one phone calls, we send that to you right away, and you can look at it. As of April 1st, the new franchise disclosure document with the new item 19 will be updated, obviously, with 90-plus locations open. We'll have more data in it. And that's one reason why our franchise fee is going up, is because that data is pretty awesome. If the data sucked, our franchise fee would probably stay the same.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Hi, do you have a question? Hello, do you have a question?
Hi, Marty.
Hi.
Hi, this is Mandy from Canada. I have a question for you.
Hi, Mandy. Yes.
Hi. In your experience, after how many months or time the profit will start rolling?
So I cannot go over any kind of financial information that's not in our franchise disclosure document, item 19. So a couple things with that. One, I don't know your expenses. I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions. What's your rent? What are you paying? Do you have a loan? I don't know any of your expenses to even help you understand what it could be. Do we have averages? Do we know? Yeah, we do, but it's not listed in our current franchise disclosure document, so I can't go over those with you. But we do give you the tools to build that, and we help you through that as well. So it's not like it's just all left into your hands and you can just do it when you can do it. We actually provide you with the tools, an Excel pro forma. We help you with the item 19, and we help you build out that pro forma so that you actually can see where you can go and what your ROI would be, and also what your break even would be, what your base operating expense, which we call your BOE, is going to be. We provide you with those tools to build that out, and we do that before you're a franchisee. We don't want to do that after. We want to do that before, so we're making a good decision.
All right. Okay. And what about if a franchisee location doesn't have optimum performance?
Okay. What do you mean?
Like, do we get any marketing support for that?
We don't market for your business. I mean, if we did that, if any franchise stepped in and said, well, you're not doing very good, we'll market for you, franchisees really could take advantage of that. We believe more in performance coaching and education to help you understand what your hangups might be and what's going on, help you refine your marketing, help you with your daily operations, whether it's your key performance indicators, and help you achieve and set benchmarks that are achievable and reasonable. We want to work with you and coaching you, not doing it for you. And if you're starting to market for your franchisees and you're going to spend all this money for your franchisees, you're kind of doing it for them. We don't know what you're doing and what you're not doing, so we want to help you maximize all those opportunities before you even spend more money on marketing.
Okay. So do you help pick an area for a Code Ninja location as well?
Do I what?
So do you help to pick up location, like particular area for Code Ninja location?
Yes. Yep. Okay. And we also help you find your actual space. But yeah, we define, because this is a partnership. We're giving you one of our babies. We're not just going to have you buy a territory without us approving based on our internal, external matrix. We need to make sure that area is viable and available.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Hi, Marty. This is Mariko, and I live in Houston. Do you still have territories available here in the Houston area?
We do not. Sorry.
That's a bummer. Okay, that was my question.
Okay, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, Marty. This is George from Louisville, Kentucky. I see that you all already have a franchise here in the planning stages. Do you know if more of Louisville is available?
We'd have to take a closer look. A city like Louisville would be a little bit tough. The individuals that bought that location out there are experienced in franchising. I'd have to take a closer look at the market to see where they're at and what's happening. I can tell you right off the bat, I don't feel 100% comfortable with it. But again, I have to look at the data to really make sure that if another one would make sense, I'd take a close look at that.
Okay. All right. I've spent about 20 years in a franchise business myself and still operate it today. So
wonderful.
A little familiar with that.
Yeah.
Also, I saw something on the website, Dojo to Go. Could you explain that program?
Yeah, the Dojo to Go, so our franchisees can, if they would like to, can purchase a Dojo to Go, which is a mobile gaming trailer that's just a part of our franchise offering. It's not required.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. I'll quiet down and listen.
All right. Well, and feel free to email me, George, if you haven't reached out to Jeff Thames or myself. Once you reach out, and we'll see if we can dig in and see what we can find for you.
Yeah, I had received over the weekend a note from Jeff, and I replied to him earlier in the call and asked for some additional information.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, he'll be able to help you out. He and I have been working together for 15 years, so and he's the one who knows the Louisville market pretty well, so he'll be able to help you out with that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, hey, Marty, this is Troy from Ohio. I know we've had a lot of questions about specifics when it comes to the franchises, and I know it's only been a couple years, so I actually have two questions. One is the success that you've had, or your success ultimately will depend on, how successful the kids are, because when they go home to talk to their parents and they say, hey, I really enjoyed this. What have you seen, what has your feedback been from parents and students that you initially had a couple years ago to now, and where has that led them, like where have they found what they learned to be successful in the workforce or in college or wherever they ended up going?
Yeah, well, I mean, being that I have only now been out there operating for 2 years, we don't have kids obviously going off, and we have no, college or whatever, because our curriculum itself takes 3 to 4 years to accomplish. So I can tell you, if you just look at the numbers, right now we float between 12 and 15% month-over-month attrition as an average for Code Ninjas, which is incredible. So when you have month-over-month low attrition like that, I mean, you have not having a lot of kids leaving. And with the way we designed our program, it's really about you being able to deliver an exceptional experience. Kids are going to have, we have world-class curriculum. I mean, nobody has curriculum like ours. It's 90% proprietary and exclusive. Nobody has what we have, but it still doesn't matter if you can't deliver an exceptional experience, if kids aren't having fun. Some of the things that we learned early on is that we weren't all proprietary and exclusive. We used some other companies. I'm not going to say their names because they're quite boring. And we lost a lot of students, to be honest with you, by using some of these other programs out there. They weren't fun. They were getting so deep into the weeds. Kids were really getting bored. And no matter what our code sensors would do, it was hard to keep the kids kind of engaged. And so we dumped them. We were like, we're done. We can't do this anymore. We're losing too many kids because that is boring. So we actually started to make more. We didn't know how proprietary and exclusive we wanted to be. We started Code Ninjas. It was like 10%. It was hardly anything. And then we developed our game development platform. Then we got an exclusive robotics program. And then we had a company call us and say, hey, we'll expand our curriculum. We'll customize it to Code Ninjas. Just let's work together. Now we're their largest customer. And then we continued to create more. We hired more game development programmers, and we hired more individuals to build our textbooks. So next thing you know, we're at 40%, 45%, and then about 2 weeks ago, closer to 90%. And it's been us by doing market research, and that market research is the feedback from families, the feedback from our franchisees to say, okay, where do we need to go from here for proprietary? How far do we need to take it, proprietary and exclusive and or exclusive? And it just kept coming back, well, we're losing a lot of kids in this area. Well, that area just so happened to be a program that wasn't proprietary or exclusive. So then we're like, okay, wait a second. Let's dump that. Let's create our own. I'll find an alternative that can be used, that can be exclusive just to Code Ninjas. And so the feedback from our franchisees, the feedback from parents, the feedback from students, based on us doing tons of surveys to get their feedback, and quick surveys, not like 19 questions about just quick questions to find out what does it look like, and also looking at our retention and attrition numbers to see what's happening. And a lot of our franchisees are IT professionals. They're teachers, they're programmers, they're developers. Their feedback has been critical to our curriculum development. And now having 15 coders and developers on staff, 3 of which specialize in gaming, has been just a huge value, and our curriculum has really just accelerated to another level. And it's always being sharpened and gone through. The more and more entrepreneurs we have come on board, the more and more IT professionals, coders, and programmers, individuals like yourself are always analyzing the marketplace. What about this competition? What about what they're doing? Not only does that help us see how far ahead we are than everybody else, and it helps them see how far ahead we are, but what if we miss something? One company could have we could be light years ahead of everything they're doing besides one little piece. We take every competition, every thing that we see from our franchisees and what we find very seriously. We look at it, examine it, and say, okay, how can we make our system better? What did they do that was fantastic? What are we doing that really validates just the work that we're putting into this and how far ahead we are? So we don't just like look over anybody. We actually take everything very seriously, and really our franchisees' feedback. I mean, a lot of our programs, a lot of our 12 different camps that we have come from our franchisee feedback, and them being creative inside their center and creating new programs and new ways of doing things that have allowed us to grow our internal offering for our franchisees and our families. So I hope that makes some sense.
No, it absolutely does. My second question is pretty simple, and you may not be able to answer it. That's kind of what I've been understanding was me, and there's actually another gentleman that's on this same conference call that we're from the same area, and we've kind of been interested for a couple months. What is
don't say the area. Don't say the area. Just so we say, don't say the area. Don't say the area. Okay. Don't say the location. Don't say any of that, because there could be somebody else listening today, tomorrow, the next day who's going to swipe it off from underneath you. So just keep it under wraps. Sure. Connect with Jeff Thanes or myself, who's ever sent you an email, and then we can dissect the market with you. And also, we have those internal tools that allow you. We have business plans, facility guides, performas, everything to allow you to build out this business model so that you're not flying blind. And that's the big part that's hard for franchise. If I could just give you my P&Ls, trust me, my job would be a lot easier, right? Yeah. As a vice president of franchising, if I could just say, oh, you're interested, here are my P&Ls, you'd be a franchisee within 15 days. I can't do that. Unfortunately, franchising law prevents me. So, but I can give you tools to make it happen for yourself. You know? Yeah, awesome. Do that.
All right, thank you. That was it.
Awesome. Thank you. Mm. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking time to conference call. 25 of you hung on out of the 30 plus. 25 of you hung on to listen out to today's call. If you have more questions, Marty at codeninjas.com, Marty at codeninjas.com. Find me on LinkedIn. You can find me via email. Reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to connect you if you haven't heard from somebody. Like I said, this is a really, really busy time of the year for Code Ninjas. If you're not looking to move forward by April 1st, it would be a good idea just to give some flexibility our way and saying, hey, what's available the first week of April for us to connect, and then let's come back around and connect. And we'll definitely be able to continue to go down this path with you on Code Ninjas. So thanks for your time today. Really do appreciate it. Again, Marty at codeninjas.com. Feel free to reach out anytime with any questions. I'll do my very best to help you out. Thanks for your time today.